welcome back to my channel. It's been a bop, you know, like I told myself with the whole COVID thing going on, you can get more videos out, and I lied because it didn't happen. I haven't posted in like 3 months, going on 4. So, you know, I thought when I come back, I can just come back with something I like, a true crime case. So we're going to be talking about the Jamison family death. The whole family. The family consisted of 3 people and a dog. The father, Bobby, and then the mom, Sherilynn, or something like this, like Sherilynn or Sherilynn, something like that. And then the daughter, Madyson. So basically, like, before they die, they planned to travel to this mountain area in like Red Oak, Oklahoma. And they were going to purchase 40 acres of land. So that's why they made the whole trip. And then on October 8th, 2009, they and their dog left in this white pickup truck, which I think was the dad's, and they were never seen again, basically. That's like an overview, I guess. So a couple days later, on October 17th of 2009, there was a group of hunters who were on these like dirt bikes, and they seen the truck. And when they found the truck, they found the dog inside. So this was kind of weird to people because, first of all, Madyson loved the dog and she would never go anywhere without the dog. So everyone thought it was like really weird. The family thought it was really weird. And the dog was super skinny, like it was almost dead, basically. It was starved. And inside the truck, they found like codes, cell phones, a GPS, a weird letter, like it was a letter from the mom to the dad, and it was like malicious. It was just like, it kind of seemed like she was a suspect, basically, because of how, like, what she said in the letter. And there was $32,000 in cash. No sign of the Jamisons though, so that was like really weird. And then it's like weird that they had the cash. Like you'll see why. So eventually, after stumbling upon the truck, the hunters decided to call the Latimer Police Department and have them come and see it. Because, I mean, obviously, what are you supposed to do? So they're having them come in to see the truck. And that's when things kind of get even weirder. So they thought they were just lost. It was like, oh, maybe they were just lost. And they checked the GPS, and they noticed that the Jamisons had went up to this rock. They drove to like some big rock, and they took a picture there of Madyson, which I will insert right here. And they found the picture on the cell phone that they found in the car before they went back to the truck. So they kind of just like was walking around. And at this time, after that happened, the rest of it was a mystery. They were just like, oh, this is kind of weird, because like they took a picture, like that's it, nothing else happened. I will say, because I did insert the picture, I'm going to show you again while I'm saying this. So in the picture, I couldn't tell this because I don't really know, like I don't really take pictures of people like for a kid to know. And I don't really know Madyson. But the parents' families thought that Madyson looked in distress, like looked like she didn't want to take the picture. And they believe it was taken by someone else that was not Bobby or Sherilynn. Eventually, the police decided to speak with the family, the Jamison's family, and they learned that Sherilynn had a gun in her name that was lost. They tried to look for it, but they couldn't find it. So, which that like also kind of makes her like a suspect. Like it may have been a what's the thing, like when you murder people and then murder yourself, that type of thing. They thought it might have been that because her gun was lost and no one else knew where it was, and yada yada yada. So then a couple days later, on October 23rd, they got surveillance cameras from the Jamison house, because they had surveillance cameras around their house. And it kind of just revealed some like secrets that the family had. So it showed them packing the truck, but they were in a trance. I don't have the footage, but I will link a video down below from where I watched it. So a lot of people suggested they were on drugs, and some people say they weren't because they were taking care of Madyson and they stopped using drugs when they were taking care of Madyson. But they just looked like they were in a trance, like they were just doing it and they weren't like you know, like if you're moving, you're typically happy or tired or something. You kind of show a lot of emotion, but they weren't showing any emotion. They noticed that Bobby and Sherilynn didn't really interact with each other. Like they just went into the house, brought something out, put it in the car, then kept doing that, and they never spoke. Like not even like, oh hey, did you grab da da da? No, they just didn't speak. They walked past each other. They also noticed that it seemed to be two men there. So it was Bobby, Sherilynn, Madyson, and another random person. Because when you watch the footage, there's supposed to be a guy who shows up in a different outfit than Bobby was wearing. So they couldn't tell if Bobby went and changed his clothes or if another man came, because then you also didn't see them on the camera at the same time. So it was kind of weird. Madyson was just playing in the backyard, and before they left, they went to go speak to a lot of people. After they reviewed the footage, they found out through a pastor at the church that they went to that Bobby said that their house was haunted and they were kind of like seeing ghosts and stuff. So, as a joke, supposedly, Sherilynn, the wife, decided to buy a satanic Bible. Bobby decided to read it, and people believed that witchcraft was practiced and had something to do with their deaths. When they find out, like, Sherilynn's mom found out that she had got the satanic Bible. And she had a friend who had got the Bible with her. And they were like, the friend becomes pertinent, like, later. But the mom, after finding that stuff out, believed that they were involved in some sort of cult. And that the cult is the reason they died. Basically, they were just murdered through the cult. It's unproven, so it's just alleged. The police decided to speak with Bobby's brother, who he's kind of like estranged from. He's kind of estranged from his family because he got into a lawsuit with his father, which is where they think the $32,000 came from, because that is like who has that type of money in cash on them. The father, he ended up passing away, but they found out that apparently Bobby was threatened by his father, and his father stated that he would kill him and his family, and they basically just feared for their lives because Bobby's father is probably going to kill them. They had basically painted this picture of him being like dangerous and thought he was above the law and like involved with all these illegal things, drugs, da-da-da. But Bobby's brother said that the dad couldn't have had anything to do with it because he suffered from Alzheimer's. He had poor health. He was either at the hospital or on bed rest when he was at home. And then he died 2 months after Bobby's family went missing. So they doubt he could have had something to do with it. So the witchcraft stuff, back to that. So while they were living in the house, they had told the pastor that they seen spirits in their home. And it belonged to like some long dead family members, like their ancestors. And they claimed Madyson spoke with a young spirit, someone who's like her age, I guess. So then Bobby decided to ask the pastor for special bullets that would kill the ghosts. And then he read the Satanic Bible. I don't know what type of special bullets those would have been, but he asked for it. So, and then there was a witch Bible and a Satanic Bible. I don't know if they're the same thing, but it was stated there was both of those things found inside the house. And then weird messages written on the side of the shed that they were gonna move into, like the place they were looking into moving into. There was weird messages. Like, okay, so here's some of the messages. So, like I said before, Sherilynn had a friend who was into this witchcraft stuff with her, whose name is Nikki. And supposedly, Nikki wrote something that said, 3 cats killed to date by people in this area. And she said she wrote it to scare people because Sherilynn's neighbors were poisoning their cats, and she thought, oh, just writing that would scare them. When she went to the Jamison house, she always claimed that she felt an evil presence. And when she would leave the house, she would feel down and depressed. Like, it kind of just saddened her to, like when she was there, she just felt, like, scared. And she left, she felt depressed. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it always happens. If there's, like, an evil presence, you feel like it take all your energy, basically. She also claims that Nikki believes that Sherilynn upset people where she was moving because in the mountains there was always these satanic messages everywhere, which is one, why would you want to move somewhere like that when you got a little kid? But there was these satanic messages, and she would write over them talking about peace, love, and stuff like that. And she said Nikki believes that it upset the neighbors, basically, and that they may have done something to the family. Another thing that happened, like, it's a lot of weird things that happen in the house, but Nikki also claimed there was a gray mist that descended down the stairs one time when she was there, and she seen it, and she was just like, no. She also said that Sherilynn told her that Bobby had tried to attack her one time, and it was weird to her because she was like, oh, he's usually so gentle and loving, and she's like, he tried to attack me, like, this is weird. I can't really speak on that because I've seen things that he's a nice guy, I've seen things that he's not a nice guy, so I don't really know. And then to try to get rid of the spirits, Sherilynn will leave notes around the house saying, get out Satan and stuff like that, which they claim didn't really work. It was just something she did to kind of get her peace of mind. Okay, so after I talked about now that you know about like the witchcraft stuff that happened between the family, on November 2013, about 4 years later, some deer hunters found all three of the bodies about 3 miles from where the truck was found initially. They were face down, like all face down, and they had been shot in the back of their skull, kind of like execution style. That brings the whole theory of the third person with them when they were moving, because even if Sherilynn did have like this malicious note and she was the one to do all these things, how did she shoot herself directly in the back of the head? Like, I know you can go like this, but that's kind of hard because it's blood would have spread, It's kind of hard for it to have been one of the three people. Now, we definitely don't think it was Madyson. So it was a theory of one of the parents, but they really think it was a third person who basically killed them, execution style. And they're also really confused because they had a huge search party, but then all three, like, they would have found them earlier at the search party if they were 3 miles from the truck. So it seems like they were somewhere when they first found the truck, and then they were killed and put in that area. Like, they weren't there at first because they did the search party and they passed through all those areas. Like, it didn't make sense. Like, obviously there was like some type of other person involved. There had to have been someone else. So here's some theories, not facts. Theories. So the first theory is that they were murdered over drugs. So people believe this because the family, the parents, I'm not gonna say the family because the kid was just like a normal kid. The mom and the dad lost a lot of weight. They had a lot of cash on them. They had strange behavior in the surveillance video, and they believe it was just a drug deal gone bad. So I get where they can understand this, but then there was also articles talking about that the cash they had was from the lawsuit between the father, and they were using that money to move on with their lives, basically, which would kind of make sense. The second theory is that they were murdered by Bobby's father, which isn't as heavily supported because he was suffering with Alzheimer's. He just had a lot of health issues before they went missing, and then died 2 months after they went missing. But because of the long dispute they had, and the dad was super angry with Bobby, they just believe there was something, that he did something. Maybe he hired someone, something like that. That's another thing. The third theory is that it was a murder-suicide. So both parents suffered from depression. Sherilynn's depression worsened after her sister died in 2007. They believe that one of the parents killed the other, then Madyson, then themselves, which again is kind of confusing because how will they shoot themselves directly in the back of the head? I feel like that has to be someone else. Like, you can shoot yourself in the head, but like not right, like in the middle. Like, you must be flexible. The other fourth one is hypothermia. They just believe they got lost, but they were also shot in the back of the head, so that doesn't make any sense. 5, witchcraft. They were involved with cults and Satan, and someone just wanted them dead, which could have been true. And then 6 is foul play. And basically they believe someone else killed them, which I kind of agree with, because it's just like, after all like the evidence, the whole surveillance video, the photo of Madyson saying she looks like she's scared, and I don't know. But they just think it was bad people in the mountains. They just wanted them gone. Stuff like that. This case is like one of the most confusing to me because it's like you don't know who's in a right and who's in a wrong. But I digress. I hope you enjoyed Dish learning about this case and the Jamison family. And don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye.